exactly.
But what do you think held you back from chasing that end destination or keeping that end destination solid up until maybe the last few years? Like, because it's been changing. What was it?
Yeah, for sure. I would say it's actually fear, right? I was always like, oh, I need to do this before I can do that, right? Before I start the portfolio and investing in companies, I need to do X, Y, and Z. And it's crazy. Like I always grew up getting great grades and everything, but my sister, she was valedictorian, yada, yada. She was known as the smart one. So I was never known as the dumb one, but just because she was the smart one, I felt like I wasn't smart enough. And that was a crazy realization I had years ago that I actually started my business partly to teach myself that I was smart and to teach others that I was smart, right? And so partly fear, a lot of things that we're talking about are related to mindset. So at the end of the day, I didn't feel like I had the proper tools, mostly from a fear and mindset standpoint, to be able to move into that phase and just go and just go. And, I've had a lot of realizations over the years of like, the time's now. Like I talk to other people that are doing what I want. And I'm like, we're the same. In fact, I actually probably have better skill sets and experiences than that. They've just done it, right? Yeah. So I'd say it's mostly around the mindset.
What actually got you to just do it, to like get started? Obviously, you had these roadblocks or obstacles. Most of them, from what I hear you saying, were instilled by other people, right? Yeah. Other people's narratives, other people's perspectives. We all gather those as we're being raised, and we all hold them way more tightly to ourselves than we even recognize. But what was finally that kick in the ass for you that said, okay, now is the time I'm going to go?
Yeah. I would say it's having the pain build up enough to actually change, right? And that's what we tell people is like, don't wait for that big thing where you have to do something. Like as best you can, have a compelling vision that's so big that you want to go towards it, even if things are quote unquote good. And things have been good for years, right? And there hasn't been enough pain necessarily built up. So finally, I would say over the last couple of years, that built up too much that I felt like I was behind on my vision. And when I really broke that down, it was just purely fear that was holding me back from that. So, whatever I could have done to inflict that pain or feel that pain more. And I think part of that is like feeling into your vision more, because like the more that you feel that, the bigger it is, the more exciting it is, the more that you want to go to that. And I didn't have that gap of pain to vision be strong enough to make some moves until really this year, honestly.
So do you find ways now to sort of self-inflict pain to make sure that you are pushing to the level you desire to push? Or do you just kind of trust you understand now what pain looks like, feels like, and you don't need that anymore?
Yeah, I think I think about the vision and goals more. So I've done a lot of work over the years as far as like affirmations. I listen to an audio affirmation that I create myself every morning and things. But now I'm going through like the bullet list of my goals every day, right? And just like reminding myself of those numbers. I'm like, those numbers are a lot bigger than where I'm at right now. So I need to do something about that. And having the structure in place of how I approach those things to work on at least 2 hours of big things every single day. They're going to move me towards those big things. Very simple stuff, but really just feeling into and reminding myself more of that vision and what I'm trying to create. I would say that's a bigger one. And then from a mindset standpoint, I feel like we're always ahead of where our actions and results are, right? So like for years, I felt like, for at least, the last 2 years, I would say, I feel like I'm a CEO that's definitely worthy of 10 times the results of where I'm at right now. And I think that that's the first thing to get ahead, to have that belief and confidence and understanding and different things that you really truly believe that, and then your actions start to show up and then your results show up after, right? So I would say that's been a work in progress to continue to get there, that I feel like I'm way ahead on the mindset side versus where I'm at, which is exciting because I can just use that to pull me through.
How do you not let that sort of vision getting ahead become delusion?
Yeah.
Because I've seen it a lot of times in entrepreneurs, they get sort of this delusional perspective, especially in developers, right?
Yeah.
Like people that are developing land, they're always thinking of the next thing. And guess what? The market's always going to go up and to the right. Rates are always going to go down. Life's going to be good. So how do you, as a leader, as a visionary inside of your companies, let that pull you forward, but not cause you to get delusional?
Yeah. So I think there's two things on that. Number one is the gap and the gain. Are you familiar with this?
Yeah, Ben Hardy, yeah.
Yeah, Ben Hardy, yeah. So the gap is we're always looking at and comparing ourselves versus this ideal and this goal, whereas the gain is looking at where you have come and the progress that you have made. So it's a balance, right? As entrepreneurs, we always got to be looking forward and feeling like in some way, shape, or form we're not achieving enough, right? But also really embracing the journey that we are on and seeing that progress and making sure that the team feels that same balance as well, and especially the progress, right? So I think that's one a concept that's super powerful to really feel that joy as you're on the journey. And the second I would say is like the name of my company, one of my coaching companies is called 2X, and it's not called 10X. There's so many people out there. Oh, I'm going to 10X, and there's a book called same author. 10X is easier than 2X, and we're like, that's a great thing to think about. That's a great strategy, but at the end of the day, it comes back to execution and momentum. That's why we're always trying to build momentum from an execution standpoint. So I think that's just kind of baked into my overall like thesis and methodology. That's what I'm thinking about, is building those proper steps. So that takes away the delusion that we can see the progress on the path. But I think those two things are super important for that.
So like what I hear you saying, again, going back to the flight analogy, you have a flight plan for your life, but you're celebrating the checkpoints, the waypoints that you cross consistently on the journey to get there. Like the ones that are in sight that you can grab, you can understand, you can comprehend, not the 10X that's so far away. Yeah, it might be exciting. Yeah, it might be compelling, but it almost becomes not tangible because it is so big. It is so grandiose.
Yeah, for sure.
And a business leader, an entrepreneur, they figured out the vision. Now where do they go? What's step two?
Step two is the strategy. So once we understand where we want to go, now we need the strategy and model to get there. And there's the quote, if you give me 6 or 8 hours to chop down a tree, I'll spend the first 2 sharpening the axe. Getting the strategy and model right, in our opinion, is the sharpening of that axe. That's the thing that's going to impact the decision that's going to impact 1,000 other decisions. So before you start running, get super, super clear and intentional on your strategy and approach, right? And 100% of the time that we've worked with businesses, and most of our clients are between 500K and 5 million per year in revenue, so small businesses, 100% of the time, we've refined their strategy. Maybe that's getting more targeted on who they serve, or maybe that's updating their product slate, or making more irresistible offers, or changing the way that they deliver it to be much more scalable. Something related to their strategy and model, usually a lot of things related to that, that's much simpler, much more focused, much more strategic, and much more scalable, and much less dependent on them. If we can do those things, now we're going to make our life easier. Now, part of the challenge that we see in small businesses, and pretty much every business, is complexity, right? Way too much complexity. When we come in, based on the vision and based on the numbers that we see, we're seeing like 40 to 60% of pretty much every business can be cut out. It's just waste. It's either not working or not aligned with the vision, or not strategic, right? So if we can understand that, we can make things so much simpler, so much more strategic, get everybody on the team much more aligned, and now we can actually move, right? And we're just spending a little bit extra time up front to do that, and that's how we can really build momentum.
Are you guys using AI at all to help you think faster, work quicker?
Yeah.
And then how are you implementing that inside of the businesses that you're serving?
Yeah, good question. So a couple ways. Number one is like every single one of our clients, we have a brain on them, right? Like we know all the things that are going on them. We can then use that to start to identify even the gaps that we don't see as from a coach's standpoint, right? We're able to also better manage our coaches and support the clients from the rest of our team as well with that. So that's like one of the first things. I think everybody that has clients should have some type of database that they can leverage with AI. That's pretty easy. Other things are, we have a ton of systems and SOPs and templates that people can swipe and deploy. We've got a lot of AI tools and GPTs that people can swipe and deploy and use as well. So as we do anything, we want to turn that into a system. And the best systems right now are AI and automation, right? So if we can do that and duplicate that for clients, that's a huge win as well. And then next from there is, as we start to map out their business, A to Z, whether it's their customer, full customer journey, or whether it's the journey for a specific product, or if it's a specific process that we're mapping out, we teach them to start to look at what are those leverage points from an AI standpoint that you can do, and giving them the knowledge and resources to be able to do that. So it really starts, starts with like mapping out things, because then you can start to see what systems are needed, and again, start to look at exactly where AI can be inserted. So over time, more and more is being done with AI, right? So I would say right now it's still only like probably 10 to 20% maybe that can really be AI-fied, but that's going to just be going up 10% every quarter at least. You know?
Yeah. How much of a business do you think 2 years from now, 3 years from now can be run by AI?
At least 80%. It's like, I just went through talking with an SDR that was AI that my buddy set up. He did it all custom himself, and this isn't even an out-of-box solution. And it was insane. It was way better than any SDR I could hire. She was answering crazy questions. She was emotionally connecting. Like, And that's really hard to do. So many of the other things, when you really break them down, are quite easy to do.
Yeah.
So um, it's just about the proper setup of them so that they're not all these 1,000 different pieces so that we can bring them together. And then the second piece is data, right? If you can properly capture data, then you can really leverage AI in a pretty big way. And those two things are going to become easier and easier, that all the tools are already being created for some even complex things that is pretty crazy. So then the question is, what does it come down to then, right? Well, it comes down to vision, like who's going to have like the most creative vision, who's going to be able to connect human to human and really have those things, and really first mover advantage as well. But there's going to be so much opportunity, and at the same time, it's going to change everything from a business standpoint.